Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. You can also find it at the top of the chat. Join discussion, share ideas. I share ideas there as well. You can find out more information about Elevating Traders. So if you are interested, make sure you do check it out. Link in the description. But guys, hope everyone is well. Welcome to another stream. Himanshu, you're a seat chef. Yes, we will take a look at that one. Have you just entered a long position? We'll go through that. What's up, Matt? Good morning. Hope you're well. ERG, welcome to the stream. What's going to happen with CAD Yen? We'll get to that as well, no problem. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. So, as always, we'll go through the dollar side of things first. DXY, USD majors, gold, silver indices. Any requests, let me know. Drop it down in the chat. Any time frames as well, let me know. And we will have a look-see. But haven't really seen too much from the dollar since we last spoke. Price is more or less in the same area. Still kind of respecting that support level. Haven't really pulled away from it yet, which is kind of what I was looking for price to do yesterday, or in general. Didn't have to be yesterday specifically, but we did hold support there. Price had a nice rejection during the stream. Actually, I think we'll start pushing to the upside with that candle. But as we can see, didn't really amount to much. It looks like some lower time frame area of supply. That's kind of rejected price pretty well, and looks like we're coming back into support again. So with the dollar, it is very, very corrective. I still do have a bearish bias for this one, but I've been looking for a bigger pullback before I do look to get short. I've spoken a lot about this area here, 105.5. I also like this level here a lot as well. Really strong break to the downside, both through those areas, and haven't come back for a retest either. So those levels would give us, well, there's a good chance of those levels giving us a good bounce. Of course, nothing is 100%, but there's a good chance we could get a bounce. Of course, we'll monitor price and how we get there, how we reject. But there could be some nice shorts from those areas. Of course, the market doesn't have to get there. It looks like it's already had a very corrective move to the upside, and I wonder, maybe has the high already formed and the market's already trying to push back to the low? Well, if we do clear support here, then I would believe so. If we do break through 103.9, which is that low there from yesterday coming into the week, then I would be looking for price to push back into that double bottom there at 103.2. But we'll see what happens, because equally we look very bearish right now, but we could very much turn around and be looking very bullish this time tomorrow. So it's going to be very critical support here on the daily chart, 4-hour chart, whether we hold or not. If we do hold, then buys could be looking good. If we do break through, then you're looking at momentum continuing back into the low there. So that's kind of what my take is on the dollar. Kind of just wait and see what price does really, and then I'll kind of set my buys for the rest of the week. As we approach support right now, let's see if we respect it or not, and then that will give us a good indication of what dollar's likely to do for the rest of the week. Euro USD, same situation as well. Again, these guys do kind of mirror or inversely mirror each other. So as you can see, price support there, turn resistance. Price yesterday kind of respected it. You can see with that doji there on the daily chart. If we drop to the 4-hour chart, you can see some rejection there in the afternoon as well. So Euro USD is having a hard time trying to break through this level 2 at 1.084. Again, if Euro does clear this resistance, then I don't really see much stopping it getting back to the high there at 1.094. So similar to the dollar, if it breaks that support, we're probably going to get back to the low. If Euro USD breaks resistance, probably going to get back to the high. So they're pretty much in sync with each other. And just depends really what we do with this test here. Do we reject it or do we break through? And again, that'll probably set the tone for the rest of the week for Euro USD as well. So I'm kind of just observing, really waiting for price to react, to dictate to me most likely what we're going to do next. Lower time frames as well. Again, looking like we might see another spike back into the high, but we'll see what price does when we get there. Because if we, didn't mean to do that. See what price does when we get there, because if we do reject it well, that could actually be a nice place for an entry and taking advantage of a sell. So I would keep a close eye on that. Again, euro long term, still very bullish. A few areas which I do like the look of for some longs. The retest of the high over there and the retest of the highs here as well look really good. So if euro does pull back to those prices, 1.06, 1.05, I'll be very keen to find some entries if all looks well to get long on Euro USD, and likewise with Pound USD as well. I do like the longs, but again, nothing much has really happened with Pound for a while now, since when was this? 6th of March, so almost a month. It's the 1st of April today, so we've got some monthly and some quarterly candles to look at as well, because we've just had the first quarter of the year wrapped up there, so we can kind of look at how prices progressed the first quarter of the year, and of course see what March has done. We'll get through that at some point, but at the moment Pound USD is very, very flat for the past month, give or take. I'm still pretty bullish on this one. There's some nice areas down here which I like the looks of for some longs, and the fact that we've broken structure really does indicate to me that price has kind of set the tone here. So I'm looking at the continuations of that momentum. As I drop to the lower time frames, it just looks very, very messy. I can see there's a lot of resistance here. So yesterday I was favoring a bit of a move to the downside, and we did get a nice move to the downside. However, price did not break support. It just tested support. Now it's pushing back up again. So overall, this is just basically consolidation now. Equal lows, equal highs, Pound USD stuck between two levels. Looks like we're probably approaching resistance again. Maybe we reject and come back down. Maybe we break through. We have to wait and see. All I can say is that price action for Pound isn't looking too spectacular right now. And I would wait for price just to pick its direction, and then we can kind of look at Pound USD a bit more closely. I like the longs down here and all the retest of the high there as well, but since we're nowhere near there, we can speak more about that when it comes closer, when price is close to that level. USD CAD, keeping a close eye on with this one. I'm still very bearish with this one. I do think dollar CAD long term does have some retracing to do. We have come back into a lovely level of resistance on the weekly chart. Really strong rejection over there, another strong rejection over there, and a third strong rejection over there as well. And you can see the colossal moves we've had from these levels. I do think price has a good chance of coming back to at least test prior resistance over here, which could be turned support as well. So I am pretty bearish here with dollar CAD. It's just about timing and finding that entry. I do like the highs around 1.45. I wonder if we can get back there for a test and then for potentially another sell, or crack through support here, look for some retest, then the short, because it has proven to be a really solid level of support, to be honest. So if we can clear that, that probably does mean a lot more downside for dollar CAD is happening. Looks like we're kind of stuck at some resistance here. Not really the biggest fan of it because it's kind of the middle of the range, so not too happy about that. I mean, it's a nice place for a stop loss above the high, but I would just prefer price to be a lot higher up so I can get stop loss above those highs as well and then take the swing there, just because it's kind of the middle of the range. But yeah, dollar CAD, I like the shorts, just waiting for a good opportunity really to get involved. Aussie dollar, we saw a lot of momentum to the downside for this one yesterday. Aussie NZD were looking very, very weak. We did see a pretty strong move to the downside. Price broke through support. Now is coming to test as resistance. So again, if Aussie dollar does respect this level, we could see a lot more downside. We do have some support to our left here, which I think there's a good chance price comes back to test. There's also some support below that as well. If price is very bearish, we could be heading all the way down to 0.61. But I think for now, just see how price reacts with 0.62, 626. If that can hold, there could actually be some really nice shorts on the lower time frames. Nice kind of break and retest opportunity there. Hourly chart looks a little bit choppy. 50-minute chart looks a little bit better. Maybe if you can spike back into the high there, that would be a nice place for an entry. And that could be a nice little short there. Doesn't even have to look to swing it all the way down to low. Even back to this area might give you a nice little 1-to-1, 1-to-2. And of course, you got the prior low here as well. But there could be some nice shorts down the lower time frames to keep an eye out for Aussie dollar. But yeah, since the break of that support level, if we hold below it, we'll probably see some more shorts come back into the market. And then it ends the USD as well, similar situation. I'd rather this one has a slightly bigger pullback. I like the break of the consolidation here. Of course, we spent a few days there. Price broke the downside very aggressively. It would be nice to see a pullback to retest that support level now as resistance. And of course, you've got the prior low here as well, which started this really big move to the upside. I think that would be a nice target to have. Can even probably just draw consolidation around that kind of low there before we broke to the upside. So around 563, sorry, would be a nice target for ends the USD. But again, similar situation, strong drop to the downside yesterday, correction, continuation. Looks like that could be a bit of a high formed for us to potentially head back to the lows here. So yeah, ends the USD pretty bearish on it as well. Gold, just very, very bullish last time I checked. Yeah, still fighting higher, looking really solid. I did speak about this area as a nice place for a buy if we could get into that. Didn't quite see that happen. Nice wick to the downside in the afternoon. And price just continued from that, to be honest. Now we've broken through the highs there. Looks like we've had a bit of a retest as well. Let's scale to the 15-minute chart. Solid rejection there and nice push. I do think we can probably come back to retest the high there. But in terms of more entries, I'd probably even scale lower, to be honest. I might even look at the 5-minute chart just because you won't get a decent risk reward down to 15. I think even something like this and the spike to the downside into the low could be a nice little buy, possibly back into that range. Because this is where we consolidated. A lot of momentum came from there. I do think we can at least retest it. So that could be a nice little buy on the 5-minute even. But as a solid level of resistance, you can see rejected it multiple times. Strong break. So there's a good chance it does hold a support. And it has on a couple of occasions so far. So yeah, still pretty bullish on gold. But I will scale right down for entries. From a swing perspective, I still like the retest of the high here. But again, we need to see a much bigger pullback than that for me to be interested in some longer term buys there for gold. And then silver, still bullish on this one. However, I did get trailed out with this one. Price had a nasty spike in the afternoon, as we can see here. Big spike there. My entry was on this candle here, and it just about spiked me out. So that was very, very annoying. But silver, in terms of the analysis, nothing's really changed. It's still very bullish. I'm still expecting a push back to the high. Just a very awkward spike, to be honest. And looks like it's still respecting this consolidation here as well. So yeah, I do think silver could still see more upside. Looking at the lower time frames, I like the wicks to the downside. Maybe if the 4 hour could give a solid close to the upside, I might even look for a re-entry, to be honest. I'll have to debate because if the entry is a little bit too, if the stop loss is a little bit too big for the target, I might just call it a day with silver unless it retraces a little bit deeper. But it does look like this level is holding pretty well. I like the wick with this 4 hour candle into that zone because we had a big one there, price pullback, and we have another stab into the area. So it looks like that support level is holding very, very well. And could potentially start the next swing back to this high and then hopefully back to 35. So keep an eye on that, but the risk reward might be a bit skewed for me. But as long as we can hold 33.8, I'm favoring another swing to the upside. So yeah, gold and silver still pretty bullish, still creating higher highs and higher lows. So I don't see any kind of red flags for them just yet. Of course, gold's pretty extended, so at some point it will retrace a lot deeper, but there's no sign of that happening just yet. So I'll just keep looking to try and catch those lows on the lower time frames. So 5-minute chart probably looks the best to me. And yeah, expecting more upside. And dollar, I'm kind of just on the fence right now, waiting for a bit more information. Anyway, we'll go through your receipt chef for Himanshu. We'll take a look at Kajen as well. What's up, Ivan? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Darker Sean, good morning. Nas seeing some upside after New York Open yesterday and this morning. Yeah, I saw that. Could this be a minor retrace and a deeper fall? Could be. I'll go take a look at NAS in a second. I'll just go through CAD Yen and Euro CHF. But yeah, it was interesting. Did see a bit of a strong move for NAS. I think S&P as well to the upside yesterday. What's up, Sultan? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. GJ, yes, we'll take a look as well. Sayanda, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning. Lighten, USDZAR, yes, we will take a look as well. So Euro CHF, Manchu said he's got a long position. Let's see. Okay, entry 0.95286. 95286. Okay, that's roughly there. Stop loss 947. Okay, that's down there ish. And target's 965. Back at the swing high. So yeah, I like the position. I like the stop loss. I like the target as well. You know, keeping it relatively simple. Stops in a safe place below structure here as well, because this is of course kind of what you're anticipating the market to hold. You know, prior resistance a couple times, support a couple times. If price is of course breaking through that, you know, the trade's probably not going to go in your favor anymore. So at that point, you want to be out of the trade. So your stop loss is a nice place. Targets makes sense as well. Entry, of course, you're looking for that to hold. So entry is in a nice area as well. I think in terms of momentum, things look good. It was a pretty strong close on the daily chart yesterday. So we did gap to the downside, which is a bit awkward, but we did push through to the upside very well. Minimal wick to the upside. Euro CHF does have a lot of wicks. If you just look at the candles, that's kind of how it moves a little bit. But it's a very strong candle close to the upside. So I would say as long as we kind of keep that momentum from yesterday, things are looking good. And of course, you want price to be taken out the highs and continuing. So as I drop to the lower time frames, there is some structure here, roughly, which price did consolidate and break to the upside with a lot of momentum. So effectively what you want to be seeing is price respecting this area and then continuing. You don't really want to see price start breaking through this. It's not a sign. I mean, it could be a sign to exit the trade early. Depends how you manage your positions. But that would be a red flag, especially if it's a strong candlestick below. I wouldn't mind exiting early and then re-entering if I see another strong rejection and then getting back into the position. Because, you know, if we are going to continue to the upside and continue with the higher highs and higher lows, you do want these areas of support demand to be holding and price to be continuing to the upside, you know, taking out highs, so on and so forth, and hopefully all the way to your target there. So yeah, Euro CHF, you're in a nice place for it. We've seen price break to the upside very well. Looking at the daily chart, we've got some prior resistance turn support, which you're expecting it to hold. The market has been in a bit of an uptrend for a while now. So if we can continue this, I would expect price to go and hit your targets. But yeah, we're coming to a nice area now. Let's see if it can hold. And if it does, should be looking good. At least the trail stops or take partials. In terms of CAD Yen, so CAD JPY, we saw a little bit of upside. Actually, it's kind of a bit mixed, to be honest. Price started off really bearish from the weekend. But since then, we've kind of been a bit flat. The market's finding support, struggling to continue lower. With CAD Yen, I'm still pretty bearish with this one. Still looking for a push back into the swing low. Looking at the lower time frames, it looks like we're finding support here. A bit of consolidation back and forth. I did suggest that this could be a nice place for a short, because we did, of course, break through the counter trend line, and that would be a nice place, retesting the prior low. It looks like we kind of just missed it a little bit, so perhaps we do stab into that one more time. But if we do stay flat and move sideways, it could actually be a nice breakout opportunity if we do break to the downside. Even some lower time frame pullbacks could look good on the retest of it. But something like that could look really good there for CAD Yen, and stops above the high as well. But right now it's pretty flat, so I wouldn't look to do anything. But if we can break the low, or even break to the upside, there might be some momentum to follow. If you can break to the downside like so, that would be a nice entry. Or like I said, scale to the lower time frames, entries on the support, which will be turn resistance, maybe like 15-minute chart. And then of course you got some swing lows there, but you can consider probably this low maybe, or this low for targets as well. But I'm still pretty bearish with CAD Yen. We've had a really nice rejection of price support there. And since we have snapped through the counter trend line, kind of looking for that momentum to continue. Although it does look like the JPY basket's kind of hit some resistance and it's struggling to break through it. So that'll be an interesting read. I'm going to kind of see what the yen does with that. If there are any red flags, I'll let you guys know, but we'll see if price can break resistance. But yeah, at the moment, CAD Yen kind of sideways. So if we can commit to the downside, that would be a nice trade. And you got some nice targets below there to target. Targets to target. But you know what I mean. Okay, so we'll take a look at NAS, then we'll go for GJ, use these are as well. Yes, we'll take a look at NAS in a second. No, we'll take a look at NAS now, actually. So yeah, NAS 100. This one was bullish. Well, it actually was bearish, and then it shot to the upside. So is this a minor pullback or not? I still favor more downside with NAS 100. Particularly back to this level here, 18,500, really key support on the higher time frames, not too far away, very strong close on the weekly chart as well. But it does look like support is still holding on the daily chart, so that is a bit of something to take into consideration, because with every new candle, every new piece of data we get new information about the market or what it's likely to do next. Of course, with Friday's close, very bearish minimal wick. And we did see for a moment price actually break support, but then it pulled back yesterday and closed above. So support right now is still holding, which could give us a pretty big pullback, to be honest, with NAS. I'll still be pretty bearish based on momentum, but I would probably expect a bigger pullback. So this level, I think, is still nice, but it's just a bit awkward now because we don't have a lot of room. I know if you're on the lower time frames, then that's probably still a nice short because you're not looking for such a big swing. You know, even a move just back to there could be a decent swing on the lower time frames. But I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back a little bit deeper, more so into this kind of area where we consolidated it and had that really aggressive dump. We might kind of see a bigger correction into there, and that could provide some nice shorts maybe later in the week or maybe early next week. This still looks like a nice area, still do back this level. It's just now that support is holding, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to see that continuation. So I'd watch out for support there around 19,150. But yeah, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for some shorts, 19,400 looks good. Just I'll keep it short term. I think this level looks good as well, back at the high there. But yeah, that might still take a few days for us to get there. But again, if things look good, I think that'll be a nice place for a short as well. But yeah, support is holding there on the daily chart, so it's a bit of a red flag to be trying to look for the big swing, whilst we're still respecting support there. Of course, if we were to see a daily close below, well, that changes things again, and then I'll be looking for prices to continue back down. But yeah, support is holding for now, so I'd watch out for that. Shorts look good around 19.4, but again, I'll keep it relatively short term. Okay, so next I will go take a look at GJ. So yeah, I'm currently short in pound yen. At the moment, price is still kind of finding support. So I might close the trade early if we do see a convincing break above 19, not 19, sorry. What am I reading? 193.5. So if we do clear this resistance here, I will probably close the trade early because at that point momentum is failing. And then I'll probably look to see if I can find some re-entries. But altogether, we've had a really strong rejection of the high there, and I'm looking for us to continue that momentum. Yesterday's candle did pull back up, and we did provide a bit of a wick, but we've only just closed back into resistance here. So if that can hold, then that will keep me in the position. You can see the past few candles have provided a few wicks here, but I don't like that last 4-hour candle close because at one point it was looking pretty bearish, but then we pulled all the way back up and closed as a doji. So we're just seeing a lot of indecision. So although price is still respecting resistance, which is great, momentum isn't really sustaining to the downside. So that's a bit of a red flag. So if price does shoot and close above here, that would be a bit of a red flag to me, especially if the yen basket does the same in the opposite direction, of course. So if this one, because we do have some areas on the left here which we're still respecting, if this one does start to shoot to the downside here, then I will close that trade early, because my anticipation now would be that the yen could probably, yen basket could probably see some downside, aka yen will lose some weakness, and that should send pound yen and other yen pairs to the upside. So I'll see what we do relative to the resistance. So far we're below it, so I'm holding position. But if we do decide to break to the upside, then I will close the trade early. It's been a little bit stubborn, the yen pairs, to be honest. They've showed a lot of momentum, then they've quickly kind of reduced. The momentum's quickly gone away, then it's come back, then it's gone away. That happened with my euro yen position, which I took a couple of weeks back, or was it last week? I think it was the week before. Entered that position, saw some nice momentum, but then it started finding support. Yen looked like it was about to turn, so I closed that one early, around break even as well. This one might do the same if it does clear that resistance level. And yeah, especially if the yen basket does reject that level. We'll go through some more yen pairs because they're looking quite interesting as well. Anyway, I'll go through USDZAR first for Lighten. What's up, Debate? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Welcome. Any pairs you want me to take a look at, drop it down in the chat. Any time frames as well that you're looking at specifically, let me know. What's up, Matt? Hope you're good. What's your thoughts on GJ trade? Current price action looks like we're reversing long. Yeah, like I said, price is not really seeing that resistance hold very well, and the momentum's not really kicking through. So if we do close above, I will look to close the trade early. Yeah, if we do break above, I'll close the trade early. If we do respect it, then I'll stay in the trade, hold it through, because as long as resistance is holding, there's no kind of real sign for me to exit just yet. But yeah, if you do clear that level, I will close the trade. Yusuf, good morning. Hope you're well. I'm doing good, my man. Hope you are doing good too. No problem, Sultan. Happy to help. I personally closed my short and went long. Okay, based off that 1 hour wick. 1 hour wick. Or do you mean the 4 hour wick? This wick here. Yeah, I mean, that wick is very ugly as well. I don't like that wick one bit as a seller. In terms of a buy, I probably wouldn't buy it yet just because we're still at resistance. If we do break through, then yeah, I would say that's definitely a green light. But we still got that level to contend with. So I'm going to hold through that, and if price does break above, I'll close the position early. But yeah, it was a very ugly wick there. Did not like that close when I saw it. So yeah, if it does break to the upside, I will call it a day with pound yen. Hopefully, maybe we can get some sells later on, because I'm still pretty bearish with the yen pairs. It just might mean that my timing was a bit off. Maybe we still see a bit of weakness for a few days or maybe a week or so, and then I'll look for re-entries. Dollar yen, yes, we'll take a look as well. Philip, hope you're doing good. I'm well. What's your bias on dollar? Looking at the charts, form the cup and handle might slightly go from 104 to 106. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting to see with the dollar. We're at support, and it's a little bit awkward. But I'll go through it in a second. Let me just go through USDZAR, dollar yen, then I'll take a look at the dollar for you. So USDZAR, what have we done? I haven't actually looked at USDZAR since last week. Last time I checked, we were respecting that resistance level. Okay, we've gone and broken through it. So we got a nice rejection, but price absolutely turned around from that. So it was a solid rejection. When was that? Last week, Thursday. Nice push down, but then price decided it wants to turn around, and it shot straight back above. How do we close on the week? Okay, weekly candle close is pretty bullish. It looks like overall resistance on the left here. It's still just about holding as support, especially with all those wicks to the downside there as well, and that close. So yeah, I would say with USDZR, looks like price tried to have that sell, but support just held in the end. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see price actually have a pretty big move to the upside. In terms of actually looking for entries, that's where it's a little bit awkward. Yeah, because we are coming back into the resistance here on the left, and looks like price is really struggling at that. I would probably say a nice breaking retest of that level would look good, but it's just very awkward because there's a lot of noise to our left. If price can clear this, then hopefully momentum will pick up, and there could be some nice breaking retest following that, or maybe even price comes back to respect, this level a little bit better, and that could be a nice long as well. But yeah, judging how that weekly candle closed and how that we've tried to sell off there, but all that momentum came for the buyers, does look like price is trying to turn to the upside here. So I'll kind of just sit back a little bit, wait for USDZR to give me a bit more information. If we can break to the upside like that, then longs will definitely be looking very, very good. If you do break back to the downside, things do get very, very choppy at that point in time. I'll probably just let price breathe and do what it wants to do. Maybe we get another big swing. In that case, I'll be looking for the next pullback afterwards. Maybe price just finds some more support and we shoot back to the moon. So yeah, not looking particularly great right now, USDZR. If I was looking to trade it, I'll probably just sit tight and just wait for more information to come. If we do break the highs like that, then I know, okay, there's a good chance we're probably going to push to the upside now. We've got some solid support here, and these two breakouts might just be, price kind of faking lower, double bottoming, and potentially turning around from there. So I'll keep an eye out for USDZR. There could be a lot of upside on the cards here, but still just looking a little bit awkward. USDJPY, this one, nice push to the upside. Again, lovely counter trend break as well. This one did find some resistance around here and struggled to break through pretty well. And we did see price sell off a little bit. I think dollar yen had a much bigger reaction because USD was a little bit strong yesterday for some moments. So we did see a bit of a push to the upside. But yeah, for dollar yen, I'm still going to keep an eye on this one because, again, very nasty wick to the downside. It looks like price is still respecting some support on the left here, and still respecting some support on the left there as well. So we're in a bit of an awkward area there for dollar yen. I think it's still a nice place for a short, but you have to be careful in terms of managing the position. If USDJPY can push back into resistance, reject it well, that still could be a nice place for a short, potentially back to a swing to these lows and a lot further as well. But I would be very, very careful in terms of how I'm looking to manage that position. Any kind of red flags of price forming a higher low, we definitely could turn around and see a swing back to the high here because there is a lot of support below us. The only thing I don't like about dollar yen is that we just haven't retraced very much. We've had this big bearish swing. It's taken out some big daily swings on the left, but we just haven't retraced much. If I do draw the fib from the high to the low, we haven't even got anywhere near the 50. The only thing really going for dollar yen is that there is some resistance to the left on the higher time frames, which we're kind of respecting, which could give us a big short, but we just have to take that with a pinch of salt right now. So yeah, dollar yen, I'll keep an eye around 150 on the lower time frames. Of course, if we break through that, then we're likely going to push back to highs. If we can respect that, that could be a really nice play for a short and a really nice swing back into the low. I'm still pretty bearish in dollar yen. That's kind of my long-term bias. So yeah, it's not something to trade right now. Right now, we've had a really strong recovery, price respect, resistance. If we can keep that up, it could provide a nice short. So yeah, I'd wait for price to get to that resistance again and see how we respect it. Okay, so we'll go take a look at the dollar next. Forex grammar gears take days for a decent swings to play out. Gold, oil, BTC, and SPX is where it's at. Yeah, you probably will get some quicker moves from there. I mean, you will get some quicker moves from FX as well. But the way I see it, markets come into play and come out of play at different times. Of course, Bitcoin is a bit of a different situation because you could easily see 10% move in a week or even in a day with Bitcoin. So you're not going to see that with Euro USD. But there are times where Euro is very volatile. If you look back in 2022, gorgeous trends, really nice moves in 2022. Of course, since then, the market's been very corrective. There's been some big moves here and there. Just a few weeks back, we got Euro USD absolutely flying. So the way I see it, markets come into play, come out of play. Of course, FX is just a bit more choppy because the markets are just very stable in general. S&P kind of does grind a bit as well, but it has that kind of natural trend to it, so it can be a bit more attractive as well. Oil, a bit more fast paced as well, but then again, oil can consolidate quite a lot too. So I definitely understand what you mean. FX is a little bit more choppy, but if you can find a way to kind of maneuver that, FX can provide a lot of opportunities. But it's not going to be as expansive as some other markets. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. Which potential upswing on the DXY usually looks sketchy for sell for me at least, but we will see. Thanks a lot. No problem. Happy to help. Yeah. It's because it's in a very awkward situation. We've got support here on the left. We've got support there in the daily chart as well. And just because the market hasn't really pulled back enough as well. So I think shorts look good in the lower time frames, but it's just not a long-term play. We might have a bigger retracement, especially if the yen still sees some weakness. So there might be a nice short-term sell, even just potentially back into the low there, which is 149. If we clear this, then I wouldn't be looking at sells anymore. If we clear, what's this, 140, 150, 100, if we clear that, then I won't look for sells anymore. And we probably are going to push back to the high there and maybe even higher. But I wouldn't be looking to short dollar yen either. It just hasn't retraced enough for me to take any sells just yet. In terms of the dollar, so I'm kind of just waiting for a bit more information with the DXY because we had a lot of consolidation a few days ago back over here. Price did break to the upside pretty well, but it was pretty corrective as well. It didn't really set the market alight with momentum. You can see we did clear to the upside past resistance here on the left, but we did it very correctively without momentum. So it's not like price is giving us a very strong reversal pattern. If anything, it might just be price correcting just so it can potentially top out and push back down again, which is what I expect dollar to do eventually. I've talked about dollar selling off from some of these areas, which is kind of what I like, where I'd like the market to get to. If we can retrace back there, that could provide some really nice shorts. But the market just looks very tight right now. I've identified support here around 103.9. If the dollar can hold to that, potentially we might see a bit of a swing to the upside. What I'm kind of waiting for is just to see what price does at support again. If we get back here, start respecting it well, perhaps we do see a nice swing back into the high. If we do clear support here, then I think dollar's on a one-way ticket back to the low. 103.2 and maybe a lot further as well. Still do have all that momentum. I think price is naturally correcting itself. How far? That's the question. But I still think there's a chance we push all the way down to 100. For the dollar, I'm kind of just sitting on the fence right now. If support can hold, then yes, I'll probably be bullish on this one and favoring a push at least back to 104.6 and 105, 106.2. I'll be looking at those levels as well. But we need to see a solid rejection at support for me to be thinking that, which we did see yesterday, but momentum has failed. Looks like some supply on the left is rejecting price pretty well there too. So we're trapped in a bit of an awkward situation here. But if we do break, then the dollar's likely to push down. But altogether, dollar's really choppy right now. Price action isn't particularly great. Caught the bottom of S&P the other day and chugging away nicely. Plus, been holding onto oil long since last week. So much easier. Yeah, but I mean, it's you say that when the trades are going your way on the oil and S&P. You know, if the trades didn't go your way, you probably wouldn't be saying that. But the way I see it, markets provide opportunities. You know, some markets will be better than others, depending on how your style and how you trade. If you have more joy with S&P, with oil, then just focus on those markets, because trading is a thing where you go to whatever's paying you the best. You know, if something isn't serving you well, then either try find a way to make it work or get rid of it, because there's no point trying to force anything really. But yeah, if you're having a lot of joy with S&P and oil, then yeah, focus on those markets more. Gold bulls. Yeah, I agree, Gideon. Feels like they're on some kind of steroids. Yeah, gold is absolutely flying since the start of 2024 last year. Gold has just been absolutely flying, and yeah, it hasn't really shown much sign of slowing down. Of course, there's been some slight pullbacks here and there, but overall, it's been absolutely flying. Even from Feb, to be honest, it's been on a crazy move since Feb 28th. But yeah, just more upside, to be honest. I've said could be some nice opportunities on the 5-minute chart. It's around 31.26. There could be some nice buys there because we've got some solid resistance, really healthy breakout. Prices are overall still pretty corrective on the way down. So I do think price has a good chance of turning around there. And you've got lovely consolidation there too. So that would be a nice target. But yeah, gold right now just looks really bullish. So it's difficult to do anything but buy gold, to be honest. Yes, it's overextended. It's probably going to retrace at some point. But I wouldn't try and force anything here with gold shorts. You're up against it here. But yeah, have we smacked into 31.50? Pretty much. We got to 31.49. So I'd say pretty much done 31.50. I said that's the next big level for gold. After that would be 3,200. But yeah, gold's on a one-way ticket to the moon right now. It's going to retrace at some point, and it'll probably be surprising when it does. But yeah, I wouldn't try and short that at all. Gold is looking way too bullish. Anyway, I'm going to go through some of the yen pairs because they're looking pretty interesting. So yen basket is just very awkward right now. We're still obeying some resistance on the daily chart. And this is why it's a bit awkward for my yen position and why I might be looking to close a bit early, because I don't want to see price reject this level. If it does reject this level, there's a good chance that the yen pushes back into the low here at 65.90. If we do break through the level, then my trade should play out pretty well, because at that point, expecting the yen at least to push back to 69.75 and probably clear that. I'm still looking at a long-term move to clear the wick high here. We had that insane bullish move July, August last year. I'm kind of looking at this as kind of like a big bowl shape as price steadily gains momentum to go and take to the upside. I don't really see price doing this anytime soon. Of course, never say never, anything can happen, but the way we've kind of formed the lows here, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for price to suddenly have a massive sell-off like that. I think the odds of price pushing back to that high versus this low is pretty favorable to the upside. So that's kind of where the higher time frame, the longer term bullish bias on the yen basket comes from. And if I'm long-term bullish on the yen basket, it means I'm long-term bullish on the yen and looking for the yen pairs to see some downside then. So that's why I'll kind of be looking to short pound yen, short euro yen. But at the moment, we might just be timing it a little bit incorrectly if we are going to be respecting resistance here pretty well. So yesterday's close, big wick to the upside, pullback, not something you want to see as a buyer. And of course, today's candle, bit of a wick to the upside as well. Of course, today's candle still got 11 hours, a lot of trading to do before it does close, so things can change. But so far, we're seeing some rejections. I have to say on the 4-hour chart, we're not really getting a lot of information, especially from the past 4-hour candle, because at least the past two anyway have just been dojis. All I can say really is that we're holding the level. Momentum hasn't really sustained. If we're to see a strong close like this, then yeah, there's a good chance that price will probably make its way to the low. And then yeah, that would be my signal to to exit pound yen and maybe wait for some re-entries later on. But yeah, yen basket right now respecting resistance pretty well there. If momentum can continue, we are in that possibility for a move back down. If I take a look at, Aussie yen and New Zealand yen have been a little bit different because Aussie has been so weak and New Zealand has been so weak. So these guys actually did give some decent moves to the downside, but then again, they've both come back into some areas of support, which they're finding a little bit difficult to break through. I don't think it's anything alarming, to be honest. For Aussie yen, we've got a really nice bearish channel here, which we're still respecting. We're testing some support now. If that support can break, then there's a good chance we're coming back to the low here and eventually the wick low here as well. So there is a lot of downside there for Aussie yen to move towards. But as you can see right now, support is rejecting price. But again, no kind of meaningful rejection off that area. We have kind of pierced through a little bit, but we're lacking momentum. I wouldn't be surprised if Aussie yen just kind of pushed to the upside correctively, just to put another lower high in before a big short. We've got one high there, the second high there. I wouldn't be too surprised to come back into consolidation from a third high and have a big drop there. And I think because Aussie is so weak as well, there's a good chance we'll probably push down. Then if I go to New Zealand yen, you're seeing the exact same situation. Really strong move. This one actually cleared the low a little bit, actually. So that one's actually just about broken through. Daily chart kind of just wicked and then pulled back above, so kind of still respecting. But again, in my book, still looking pretty bearish. The key thing I was looking at for New Zealand yen is this area here, which it kind of looks like price is breaking through. You can see on the left here, support over there, resistance over there, support there briefly. If we can trade underneath this area, then you're looking at New Zealand yen dropping back into the low there. And again, I think with New Zealand yen, a big part of it is just NZD's weakness, not necessarily yen being very strong. We've had a look at the yen, doesn't look very strong to me right now. But of course, New Zealand yen had a pretty bearish day yesterday. And I think NZD weakness played a big part in that. So yeah, with NZD JPY, if we can stay below 85.5-ish, then I'm looking at 83.5 to be honest. If you can hold that, that looks pretty good for a short. I wouldn't be looking to take any entries here, especially after a big drop like that. You kind of want to be in the trade a bit earlier. But if you're looking at managing a position, I think that would be a good kind of level to keep an eye on to see what price does. Whether we start breaking back above or start breaking back below. Oh really? Wow. Yeah, I mean, NZD has just been falling for a while. If you get a decent chance to short NZD, do it. No jobs out there at the moment. Wow. Yeah, I mean, NZD's been so weak for a while. I thought it was going to bounce soon. Actually, last week, it looked like NZD was gaining some strength, but it's completely lost it again. And now it's looking pretty bearish too. So, Yeah, NZD's not looking too good. Aussie's been very weak as well. Aussie's been very, very weak too. So yeah, it's not looking good for those two currency pairs right now. Against everything else, of course, Aussie against NZD. I think AUD/NZD's actually looked a little bit bullish as well. So Aussie's been a bit stronger than NZD, but them two as a whole have been very, very weak. And yeah, NZD JPY, I think the NZD weakness has really carried this one to the downside. Looking at some other yen pairs, CHF JPY. This one, again, I'm still pretty bearish on as well. Longer term, I do think price is going to have a very, very hard drop when the time is right. Again, we're all-time highs here. Looks like price is forming a bit of a head and shoulder pattern. Previous all-time highs was back over there. I do see us correcting to the downside pretty hard at some point, but again, timing is everything in the markets, and it's just about time where that high is going to form and making sure you're in the trade for it. At the moment, we had a nice push to the downside yesterday, kind of breaking at that counter trend line, kind of hugging the low there, but not looking too good. I don't like it when price just breaks through the low and then looks very tired afterwards. We might be pushing back into resistance, which could provide some nice entries. We respected it on a couple occasions, minus that fake out there. This could be a nice pace for a short as well. At least a swing back into support somewhere. I think that would make a load of sense. I wouldn't be surprised if CHF JPY does go a little bit higher though. I do think the high might have formed, but if we do push higher, I do have this kind of trend line which I'm looking at around 172. If we were to go and hit that, I think that would be a nice confluence for a short as well. So if we do push high and this is not the high, yeah, I would be looking for another attempt a lot higher up. And again, the risk will be better as well. So potentially taking a loss, and you'll make it back plus a lot more if the next opportunity does become a winner. In terms of Euro Yen, this one's been a little bit difficult to maneuver around. Price has been very, very flat. Again, I'm still looking at us kind of just rounding off here, putting a little bit of a high in and getting ready to roll over. That's still been my take on Euro Yen. What's up, Ahmed? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. We do have resistance here going through the markets, which we respected on a few occasions now. Of course, initially over there, price broke to the upside, pulled back down, kind of giving us the head and shoulder pattern. We respected it very well over there, respected it very well over there. And looks like we've come again and respected it too over there as well. So I do think price is likely to fall. At the moment, it looks like, not sure what it looks like. It just looks like price is having a tough time trying to peel to the downside. This just looks like consolidation to me. And the market isn't particularly clear right now. Daily chart as well. We do have a lot of support here, which the market is struggling to break through. I feel like if we can get a strong close on the daily chart below that, that would be the catalyst for a sell for Euro Yen. Not particularly on the candle on the daily chart, but if the daily chart does close like that, then what you have is a strong break of this support and then some opportunities for some pullbacks in the lower time frame to take some positions. And that could be a nice trade. Then you've got a swing high there, swing low, swing high, new swing low, then new swing high for again another short, and that's kind of the high you're looking to trade. So yeah, Euro Yen, if we can get some break of that support, I feel like that would be the catalyst for a big sell. It's going to take a lot of momentum for that. I think Euro's been a little bit strong. Of course, Yen hasn't really seen its strength yet as well, so we need a lot of currency to kind of change around what they're doing right now. But if we do get something like that, then I would expect the high to be printed in. And then the expectation would be a pushback to support, which is at 155.5. So yeah, I would wait for that support to clear. What's up, Ahmed? Welcome to the stream. I don't know if I said hi. Hope you're good. And Ahmed as well. Another Ahmed, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Looking for strong sells this week for pound USD. What do you think? Yeah, I'm expecting pound USD to come down. I'm not really looking to short it, but I'm looking for pound USD to come down because I'm looking to buy it later on. But I want price to retrace first. So I'm looking for some retracement for pound USD, which might be the move you're looking at generally. I'll go over pound USD in a second. Okay, technically our economy prefers low currency price due to high exports. Okay, that makes sense as well. Well, maybe you've got two reasons to see a weak NZD then. Ahmed, no, well, yeah, technically technically the time of the stream has changed, but it's because the clocks in the UK went forward, so it's kind of messed things up. The clocks went forward in the UK on the weekend, so it looks like the stream's at a different time, but the time is still the same in the UK. The stream is always 10 a.m. UK time. So yeah, annoyingly, clocks will change here a couple times a year, and every time that happens, it's always a bit awkward for the stream because people either think the stream's not on or think the stream's starting early. And yes, it is doing that, but I'm keeping the streams in line with the UK time. So yeah. Technically, the streams have changed, but it's just staying in line with the UK, and the clock's not going to change till October now, so don't have to worry about that. Possible sells on USD CAD, 15-30 minute time frame. Okay, I'll have a look. I'll go through pound USD first. So pound USD, you said you're looking to short this week. So I'm looking for some retracement as well. This is a level which I'm liking the look of a lot, 1.27. I also like the look of 1.28 as well, which is the retest of the high on the left. At the moment, price is just consolidating quite a lot right now for pound USD, so it's hard to kind of do anything really. I did say some shorts yesterday looked pretty good because we were respecting the highs down a few occasions. And we did see a sell, to be honest, but we respected support. We didn't really continue to push through that. So we came into support, respected it, and then price did turn around. But yeah, with pound USD, looking for some sells, I'll probably just be focused on this area, 1.296, because I don't want price to be breaking through that. We might go double top here, but at that point, I wouldn't be surprised if the trend does continue. What I'm looking for is high over there, low, lower high. Now I'm looking for a lower low. So I kind of want price to be respecting that resistance, which is the level I'm expecting the lower high to form at. And that could then give us the swing to the downside. Back into support there at least, but maybe even further, 1.28 as well. So, yeah, pound USD shorts do make sense. Overall, I do think we're likely to see retracement as well. The market looks pretty tired. We've had a pretty big move to the upside now, and we haven't really seen much retracement. And now we've had a very corrected move. So I think we're likely to retrace anyway. And then I'm hoping to pick up some longs for pound USD off 1.28 or 1.27. I do prefer 1.27 a little bit more. But depending how price sits, 1.28 could be a great place for a long. So yeah, shorts and pound USD makes sense. If I'm looking to short, it would definitely be at that level. But more of a buyer of pound USD, so I'm kind of waiting for price just to pull back. Okay, next we'll go take a look at dollar CAD sells 15-30 minute time frame lighten. Small country of 5 million. Oh, NZD only has 5 million. I didn't realize that. I thought it'd be a bit more than 5 million, to be honest. Wait, Small country of 5 million people feeding about 40 million. Oh, okay, talking about the exports. Yeah, I thought New Zealand would have more than 5 million. I don't know why I thought that. I just thought probably like maybe 20 or 30 even. But 5 million, that's tiny. Anyway, so let me go to USD CAD. Okay, so USD CAD. Yeah, so I can see the sells you're mentioning as price comes back into the high then the left. I think it's a nice place for a short. Price has already seen a pretty nice move to the downside there already. Yeah, so if I was going to take a short on the 15 or the 30 minute, I would wait for price to push back into the high again. Look to see what we can do off the high, and that could be a nice place for a short. If I see some nice wicks, rejection at the high, and then I can take a short, possibly at least back into the low, maybe further as well if price does respect that resistance on the left, because it's a nice level. We did see a strong rejection. Price did create new lows past this swing point just about, and that swing point there as well. So there's a pretty meaningful short from that level, and now price looks like it's having a really tough time trying to respect that level on the trying to break through the level on the 4-hour chart. A lot of wicks there as well, so shorts do look good. I do like the look of it, but if you're looking to get involved in the 15 or 30 minute, either you already kind of want to be in the trade already, or you're looking for price to return back into resistance up high, so you can get a nice little stop loss and then take the trade as well for a similar swing. So yeah, I do agree. Short-term play looks good. I wouldn't be so confident for a big swing like back to this area. That could happen, of course, but I would be looking to take profits a lot earlier, and then potentially leaving some profits to run if things look good, and the market is moving in my favor really well. But at the moment, yeah, we're kind of back in bullish territory right now, so I'd wait for a push back into resistance, and then you can base your trade from there. So yeah, I don't mind sells for dollar CAD. It's not in the best place. I'd rather it be up there, but again, that's a bit more of a higher time frame play anyway. It's come into a nice high, rejected it pretty well on the 4-hour chart, so it's a nice play for a short. Just you kind of want to wait for price to push back into resistance first. BTC, okay, we'll have a look see. Okay, Bitcoin's looking pretty bullish. We're turning around here. Looks like we're finding support. I'm still looking for Bitcoin to push back into this level here, which is 72k roughly. Of course, really impressive move to the downside. I still think price is likely to keep pushing down. We've broken through some key support over there, 90k-ish. And I'm now looking at price continuing that. We didn't come back for the retest of that level, unfortunately. Kind of just refine the level a little bit. So it would have been nice. We potentially could still see that. We do have this long-standing trend line at play, which is still respecting price pretty well. I think as long as we can hold that, then you're likely to see price continue to sell. If price does decide to break through this and 90k, well, that's a very strong bullish signal for Bitcoin, and then the longs will look good. But I don't see that happening just yet. So Bitcoin, I'll still be pretty short bias. As we push the upside, we were left behind a really nice consolidation here. That to me looks like a really nice place for a short. Even if it's just a swing, back to the low here, or even half the swing of that move there, I think that's a really nice place for a short. I do still think we can push into 72K down there. So if you're looking to try and really swing Bitcoin, there is that target below. But again, it's up to you how aggressive you want to be with your trade. In terms of a location for a short, that makes sense. The fact that the market's been so consistent with those lower highs, there's a nice consolidation there where a lot of momentum came through. We never came back to retest it, so a retest will be the first time we're there. Good chance of seeing a bounce in our favor. And then, of course, you got support there to target if we're going to return back into the low. So, yeah, Bitcoin, I do like the short still. Of course, right now we're finding support, but we have left behind a nice level to short from anyway. So price can return there, push back into that level. I think that's a solid place for a short. And yeah, targets 81,500 look good, and you've of course got some lows here if you're really want to push the trade. And of course, you've got 72K there if you really want to push the trade. But yeah, pretty bearish here for Bitcoin still. Okay, Ahmed, part 3. We've got 3 Ahmeds on the stream. Gold, sure thing. So yeah, gold looking very bullish. I spoke about some long opportunities on the 5-minute chart of this one, because that's how low I have to go to actually get a good trade, to be honest, because we're just seeing really big moves, not much pullback. So you're going to have to scale right down if you're trying to find a decent swing on gold. But yeah, gold, we got some solid resistance here, around 31.26. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish attempts trying to break through, maybe 6 if you count that as well. And finally, price did break through. We came back, respected it once, twice over there. Now kind of just consolidating over here. So I think if you can spike down again into support, maybe even take out the wick here as well, that would be very nice too. Spike into that could be a really nice place for a buy, nice bullish engulfing candle, at least back into the range, potentially back into the range up here, which is where all that momentum came from. I do think we've got a good chance coming back to revisit that, and maybe 31.50, nice big psychological level as well. So still very bullish in gold. Looks like we're having some fun right now. Gold is looking pretty bullish there with that candle, but I wouldn't trust it too much because we're still consolidating in a range there. Unless, of course, we close firmly outside of that, then, of course, that would be a breakout. But in terms of the longs, I would wait for price to approach support again. There was a nice bounce there this morning, but if you're not really in that position, you kind of want price to get there again for another trade. And then, yeah, a push back into resistance looks good, but momentum is still very bullish. Daily chart, absolutely flying. 4-hour chart, absolutely flying. I'll just keep buying until proven otherwise, really. So, yep, pretty bullish for gold. Nico, what is up? What's your thoughts on NAS 100? Okay, I'll go through NAS. I'll take a look at S&P and US 30 as well, because I haven't actually looked at the indices. I think I had a look at NAS earlier, but other indices I haven't gone through yet. Okay, so yeah, NAS, we did respect support pretty well here. So as we can see, support on the left, we take that across. Price yesterday wicked through the level, but then eventually pull back up and close bullish. So price tried to break through support, but essentially failed to do that, and is still holding onto the level. So I'm still pretty bearish on NAS. We had a very strong close on the weekly chart last week, so that indicates a lot of momentum still with the bears. But at the moment, support is holding, so we might be seeing a bigger pullback. I have marked this area here as a nice place for a short. I do think on the lower time frames, that still will be a nice place to look for a short. I just wouldn't be looking to try and look for a big swing anymore, because I know support here is still being respected might see a swing like this, and price ends up respecting support and then going against you. But there's nothing wrong with that, because this move here could still be very much worthwhile depending on your entry, depending on the time frame you're getting involved. And that could still be a nice swing to take. And of course, price might not do that. It might just continue to bleed through. So there's that possibility as well. But in terms of a nice place for a short, this looks really nice to me. This consolidation here as well looks pretty good too, just before we had that big drop. So 19,650 looks good as well. But yeah, my plan with NAS really is that we've had that big drop. We've taken out the lows. So the plan is looking for the next lower high for the next low. And these are two really nice areas for that. The only thing that I would be a bit concerned about is that we are still respecting support on the daily chart. So if we do get some shorts from those two areas, it's just about playing it safe and being ready for price to turn around at those areas. Of course, we might not. If price just steams through, you can hold into positions, trail stops, however you want to manage it. Maybe we do see a big swing, but long term, I do think price got a good chance of coming back into this area here. Really big support on the weekly chart. So I do think there is more downside to be had. But yeah, just playing it safe with support below us. Just hit the mic there. Apologies. I'll go take a look at S&P. What's up, Ferragams? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I think it's because of the timing of because the UK clocks went forward on the weekend, so yeah, it looks like the stream is starting earlier than usual because the clocks went forward in the UK. But I'm just keeping the stream in line with the UK clocks, basically. This happens literally every year, to be honest. Every year the clocks change, and then people are like, okay, is the stream late or is the stream early? But yeah, the clock's going forwards. They'll go backwards in October, so we'll go through all this again in October. What is up? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Tony Gold? Hope you're well. What's up, Lauder? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Still bearish on NAS too. Yep, I'm still bearish as well. Bearish in Euro Aussie this week, but long-term bullish. Yeah, of course, higher time frames are still very, very bullish as well. I'll take a look at Euro Aussie in a second. I'll just go through S&P and US 30. Would love to buy from 1866, 18666 if it can get there. Whereabouts is that? Okay, that's around about that low. So yeah, as we come back into those support levels, generally speaking, from anywhere in this area, very strong level on the weekly, as we can see. That's kind of what I'm looking at as a buy as well, around that area, 18,500. But yeah, I do think we can still see more downside. I'm still pretty bearish on NAS too. It's just we're still kind of respecting support here, so we might have a slightly deeper pullback before we do kind of continue. So be prepared for that. In terms of the S&P, I don't think S&P made new lows, did it? Oh no, it did make new lows. My bad. It did make new lows. It did make new lows on Friday. That's kind of what I meant, but it did yesterday. Nice spike down, new lows. And the S&P is already up, to be honest. It already had a pretty strong reaction. This has already come into a nice area for a short. So there's two areas where I think shorts look good for the S&P. One over there, second over there. So we'll see if this level can hold. Drop into the 15-minute chart. Has a nice bearish engulfing candle. Probably a little bit too big though, to be honest, because it does skew your risk to reward. I wouldn't mind if we have another spike to the upside for a bit more of a cute entry, and then we can take some shorts back into support again. But again, with S&P, we're still respecting the low there too. So of course, watch out for that. Yeah, that would make for a good target for the trade. And then maybe call it a day, or we can always leave some positions to trail. But that support is being respected too. Really strong rejection yesterday, so I'd watch out for that. And of course, if that level doesn't hold, we do have this nice consolidation up there, which can also provide a really nice short. We do consolidate, really strong drop to the downside. I think if price does revisit that, you've got a good chance of seeing some shorts there as well. So yeah, pretty bearish here for the S&P as well. I think we're likely to continue falling. Solid levels which we're coming into. It's just because we're still respecting support there, I would be a little bit careful. But yeah, still pretty bearish on the S&P as well. Of course, we rejected the 200, which is a pretty big characteristic for the S&P. That would definitely be keeping a lot of people bearish. Yeah, I do think we'd like to keep falling as well. And of course, you've got your lovely US 30. Now, this one didn't create new lows. But I do get a feeling that we probably will. Okay, so it would be nice if US 30... Okay, oh no, it didn't. I said it would be nice if US 30 spiked into this area, but it just missed it there. So it would be nice if it were to spike up there this afternoon for whatever reason. I need to actually go and check the news. But yeah, I would still be looking at a push back into support, to be honest, which is around 4,800. I think US 30 looks good for a nice little trade. Basically still coming back into test the high there on the left. If you could see price spike to the upside, reject the high there, I think that would be a lovely place for a short. And then targets back at the low. We already formed that double top. We broke structure. Failing to sustain above the 200 moving average as well. Big red flag there for US 30. So yeah, I would expect this one to keep falling as well. LFTJ, time has changed. I trade 4 hour from 4 hour kind of formation. Not forming one out early though. I'm in East Africa, so our time is way forward. Okay. Yeah. Does clocks change? Does clocks go back or forward? Where you're at LFTJ? Babu, what's up? Ideas on CAD Swiss and CAD Yen. Okay, I'll take a look at those. I'll just go for Euro Aussie first. Yusuf, what do you do when you have two levels with good potentials? How do you choose one? Again, it's difficult because it's a lot to do with experience, really. Because sometimes they both look equally as good and you want to be prepared to buy or sell from both of them. Sometimes you can see that one is looking a lot better. Maybe it has to do with the retracement, how price is retracing, how far has it retraced, what the higher time frames are saying. Sometimes you can kind of choose which level you'd rather look to engage with. But sometimes both levels look equally as good. There's many times where I'm looking at 2, maybe even 3 levels, which price can turn around because as a trader, you realize that price could turn around from anywhere really. And of course, you don't want to be buying anywhere. You want to be buying at areas where there's a good chance price turns around. But you might just be able to indicate 2 or 3 good areas where price could turn around. So then it comes to how price gets there, how price reacts, whether you actually take the trade or not. There are times where I take a position at one level, that trade might fail. I wait for price to get to the second level, and then it works. And based on a positive risk reward, you make back the loss and then sell. So yeah, you're not going to know which level is going to work because that's like telling the future. So you're not going to have a absolute understanding of which level is going to work and which level is not. Sometimes you just got 2 good levels and you have to give them both a good shot, see how price gets there, see how we react. If things look good, take the position. As long as it's a good level, it fits your criteria, that's the most important thing. And if it does fail, you've got a second one to have another stab. But as you gain experience, sometimes you can spot levels like, yeah, that's probably not going to hold, so let me just focus on this one. And of course, that could help. But yeah, if you can identify two clear levels with two good confluences with them, then I don't see why you should try and neglect one of them just yet. Indy, what's up? It has been a long time. Hope you are well. Welcome back to the streams. Hope you've been doing good. Should announce the clock thing. Lost a lot of setups here. Yeah, my bad. I should have put a notice up, to be honest. The clock's moving forward. But yeah, the clocks, again, it's just the UK. Well, it's not just the UK. There are other countries that do it, but the UK did it last weekend. US, the States, they did it, I think, about 3 or 4 weeks ago as well. I know there's some other countries that do it too. Yeah, it's a bit annoying, to be fair, especially with trading, because you rely on timings a lot. So candle closures happen at different times now, which is all good. But now it's back to normal, for me anyway. Okay, let me go take a look at Euro Aussie before I forget. So Euro Aussie, so yeah, long term the market is very much bullish. I mean, we've broken out the consolidation there. We are still kind of fading at the highs here on the left, so it's a bit awkward, and price could definitely turn around there. You can see last time we came to a major high, price spike through, turn around. We're there again, and we're seeing a lot of kind of indecisive price action. We've come back into resistance again. Yeah, we could very much respect this and turn around. So Euro Aussie, if we can return back to these areas, I think that's a nice place for a buy, and possibly we might see that longer term and higher time frame trend continue if you can get back to those areas down there. On the lower time frames, we're coming back into resistance. I probably would wait for price to push a little bit higher before I do look for any type of sell. So right now I've kind of just cleared resistance here on the 4-hour chart, and this is now support just below us. So I would like price to kind of push to the upside to find resistance again, maybe even wick through the high to try and anticipate that double top forming and look for a sell, in that kind of regard. But yeah, Euro Aussie shorts do look good. I do expect price to retrace this bullish move here, and the fact that we're still just dancing at the highs on the left does mean a push to the downside is pretty likely. But yeah, Euro Aussie, I do like the sells for this one too. Not really something I'm looking at. It's a bit too aggressive for me, but I do expect price to retrace anyway. If price can get back to support here, then I'll be very happy for some longs. That will be a position I'll be after. Something like that. Okay, so I'll go through the CAD pairs, CAD CHF, CAD Yen. No problem, happy to help Yusuf. Oh, okay, all of Europe, I didn't know that. I know all of Europe do it. But yeah, it's a bit awkward because, of course, some countries do it, some don't, so comes a little bit out of sync. Okay, let me take a look at CAD JPY. So, CAD JPY, I've talked about some sells with this one. I'm still pretty bearish. Not 1 second. So yeah, we've come back to respect some key support. So we've got the prior low here. Of course, price respected it briefly over there, broke with a lot of momentum. Just came back for a retest not too long ago, broke through the counter trend line, and since then I've been pretty bearish on CAD Yen. And now I'm expecting a push back into the swing low. So I said in terms of a setup, if we could break out the consolidation here, you can look for an entry on the breakout and stops above the high. Could be a nice trade idea. So a breakout there, stops above the high, targets back at the low, look good. Or if you want to scale right down to the lower time frames, you can wait for a breakout of the range here and perhaps look for some re-entries, some retests, on the low here, on the lower time frames. So that could be something to look at as well. But I do think if we can see a strong break to the downside, we're likely to get the sell back to the low. At the moment, we're kind of just sideways, and we could, of course, break to the upside as well. That's still very much a possibility. So I'd watch out for that. But I am still pretty bearish with CAD Yen. We've cracked the trend line. We've respected the level of resistance. And we saw a pretty nice move to the downside as well since last week. So if that momentum does spill over, we crack the low here. I think shorts in the breakout, all the retests look good. And we've probably got a good chance of price pushing it all the way to 101.8. So I'm pretty bearish from CAD Yen. Taking a look at CAD CHF. So CAD CHF, in fairness, has done a pretty good job at respecting this level. I didn't expect price to have such a good rejection. I was expecting a slight push down before price does break it to the upside. Main reason is because we did take up the all-time low here. And typically when CAD CHF does see a new all-time low, we tend to have pretty aggressive moves to the upside. So I'm kind of expecting that, but maybe we see price have a bigger push down first before we see that bigger recovery. That could be the case. But dropping to the lower time frames, you can see price is again broken through this counter trend line as well, similar to what CAD Yen has done. And at the moment, still kind of finding support here, so it's a bit awkward. But again, if we can keep breaking support, clearing the lows, I think we'll be down at this wick here at no time, and also seeing new lows past that point as well. In terms of an opportunity, I'm not really seeing much of one. I think CAD Yen looks a lot better. I'd rather focus my efforts there. There's a bit more momentum and clarity with the price action. Actually, not clarity, just a better setup, a cleaner setup. CAD Yen respecting resistance as well and having a nice push down. Similar situation to what CAD Yen's doing, but just in terms of the way it's moving, CAD Yen's got a bit more momentum. It's a bit cleaner. CAD CHF a lot more wicks, which makes it a bit more ugly. But yeah, I think price is likely to see a push down as well, as long as momentum continues, possible retest opportunities, and you've got a lovely support level there to target as well, around 0.60500. So CAD CHF, CAD Yen, I would be pretty bearish. Eric, what is up? Market seems to be on edge with the ongoing tariff tomorrow. Very choppy in GBP and Euro especially. Yeah. I'm currently in pound yen, and it hasn't been moving too well, to be honest. It's still holding on to resistance. I need to have another check at it, to be honest. I might close the position early if things don't look good. So, again, I'm looking for a much bigger swing trade with this one. Okay, we're starting to hold resistance a lot better now. But I'm looking at a much bigger swing trade here. I'm looking at swing all the way back down to support. I've been bearish on the yen pairs for quite a while, so I'm looking at potentially a top forming here for pound yen in respect to these prior highs here, 1 and 2. If this is price putting another third lower high in, then I do think there's a good chance we do return back to 187.456, which is the prior low. I did jump into this one Sunday night as the market opened up. But I did say if price does break above that resistance there, it might close early. Actually, I probably will close early because the yen basket is still in a bit of an awkward area. If price can break above this level here, then things should be looking good for me, and a push to the upside looks likely. If price respects this area, then things look very ugly for me, and we might see the yen yen basket push down, which means a weak yen, which is not what I'm looking for if I'm shorting pound yen. So it's make or break right now. At the moment, we're having a bit of a push to the upside. I'm liking the momentum. This 4-hour candle still got a couple of hours left before it closes, but really I want to see it break resistance here. It does look pretty bullish now, which is great. But if you go and just respect resistance and come back down, then that momentum doesn't really do anything for me. So I kind of need price to be breaking through 6,800. If you can break through that, then that puts a clarity to £2 to the yen's direction, and then I can hold my position with the expectation that, okay, resistance is holding here and will likely keep falling. Of course, I'll be managing the trade as we go along, but that would be my expectation there with pound yen. So yeah, really bearish with pound yen. If the resistance doesn't hold and the yen rejects, then I'll close the trade. But so far, we're doing an okay job. Let's see if we can keep at it. I took a sell on dollar yen in profits, but a bit iffy about it because of a choppy market. Yeah, again, momentum is a big thing in trading as well. If you're in the right direction with momentum, then you'll make money. If you lose momentum or momentum goes against you, then of course price is gonna turn against you and you'll lose money. So identifying momentum is a big part to play as well. And if momentum starts to dry up or starts to turn against you, closing trades out early, securing partials could be a good way to call it. But it could also be that the market is just pausing, getting ready to explode. I think explode is the wrong word. Just pausing, getting ready for the move. So you don't want to judge that incorrectly. So, for example, the pound yen trade I'm in right now, momentum is not really doing anything. It's kind of just flat, but it's still holding on to resistance, which means the trade is still likely to move my direction. Until we break that to the upside is when things get awkward, when momentum's going against me, and we're clearing resistance there. In terms of dollar yen, for now, we're still obeying resistance as well. I was looking at this on the lower time frames, and that level of resistance is still being respected. So although it is still pretty choppy, the market, I would say, is still in your favor. I'm not too sure where you shorted from, but that resistance level is still doing its job. So I think momentum is still in your favor. If price does clear that to the upside, then of course that I would say is a big red flag. I'll close the position there, and then look for re-entries maybe later on, or just monitor the position, monitor the market. Maybe something else develops. But for now, we've had a really strong impulse from last week, pretty healthy correction, respected the prior low, and now we've rejected it. Momentum is quite choppy. Market is quite choppy, not seeing much momentum. Yes, that's definitely so. But we haven't done anything that has indicated reversal yet, which is the key thing I'm getting at. If, of course, we were to push through and close above, then yeah, that does indicate reversal. So that would mean to close the position. But yeah, it hasn't moved too well for dollar yen. The only thing I don't like about dollar yen is that we just haven't pulled back that much, which is why I've been a bit apprehensive to short it, and why I've kind of gone more to pound yen. Because that's had a bigger retracement, so that's why I prefer that one. But we'll see. We will see. They're all yen pairs really, so the important thing is what yen's going to do. If yen's going to be weak, then the market's going to find it very difficult to go in our direction. If yen's strong, things look good. But yeah, in regards to the yen basket, my eyes are peeled to see what we do at this level here. If we see a strong break of this resistance, then things look good. So that's kind of what we're hoping for this afternoon. If price respects it, comes back down, and I'll close it. But again, I'm not too afraid to do that because I understand the market's going to give us a lot of opportunities. One trade is just one trade. So not bothered about closing a trade to reopen it. 8-hour chart, nice rejection as well, what we're pushing up to. So we'll see what price does. I'll probably get the answer by the end of the day in terms of if price is going to respect it or not. If it does close above on a daily candle, brilliant. Then I'm looking for price to really push on. But yeah, I did get trailed out of silver yesterday, which was very, very annoying. Very annoying because I'm still very bullish in silver, but this wick just decides it wants to take me out, pretty much to the pip as well. My entry was on this candle here, and it just about wicked me. just about. Still bullish on silver though. I'm not really looking for entries because the risk reward's not looking too great. I can see prices more or less respecting this area here, so I think we can turn around from there and push back to the highs, but I don't really have a good risk reward profile there to take the position, especially with this high being the first target. So yeah, I'm kind of backing away from silver now. If it does come down deeper, that'll be great because I'm still looking at re-entries. But yeah, did get spiked out there for silver. More or less around break even as well for that position. I'm still trading Aussie CHF. In fact, I've moved my trail stops to here now, just above the high. Just above the high here, as we did go and create a new low just about here. We didn't close below, but at least we wicked below. So I'm starting to trail a bit more aggressively with this position just because we're picking up momentum. Price is breaking through lows. I don't really want to see price go against me anymore, to be honest, especially when we're being very consistent with the lower highs. If I map them out, initially one over there, 2, 3, 4. So I want price to keep that up and keep falling. If we do go and break structure or take out a high, that's something I don't want to see. So yeah, stop loss has been trailed with this one. Momentum is slowly picking up, which I'm liking. I think Aussie is still generally quite weak as well, which is definitely helping. CHF has been a bit mixed bag, to be honest. It's been a bit strong, a bit weak. The main driver for this trade has just been Aussie weakness, to be honest. Same with NZD-CHF. But yeah, hopefully we can see a swing back to the low, and I can finally call it a day with this position. I've already taken most of my profits, so I'm very much on autopilot for now, but there's been no red flags with this position for a while, so just trading as price continues. Darkshot took a buy on NAS a few minutes ago, 1 to 5, R target 1 minute, time frame fingers crossed, nice. Oh, gone to 1 minute time frame, Darkshot. Normally it's just a 5 minute job, but you scaled right down this time. 1 minute sounds intense. Looking very bullish though, looking very bullish. Looking very bullish. But yeah, 1 minute is just way too intense for me. I salute all the 1 minute traders out there. But yeah, in terms of what I like about NAS is because of where we're sitting right now, especially in reference to yesterday. Looks like potentially could spike up. Not too sure. I mean, we could even break the highs there, but I think that would be an optimistic viewpoint. And that's easy to find entries on the 1 minute. Okay. I mean, that's something you find as you trade it, to be honest. You know, in terms of time frames, which is better, which is more prominent for entries or managing trades as well. But yeah, nice initial bounce there. What's the target for the trade? How far are you looking at holding this one? I'm going to go to some of the CAD pairs because I'm still pretty interested in New Zealand CAD, but it's been taking its sweet time in terms of opportunities. So I'm kind of still waiting for a pullback for that one. Okay, risk-free, nice. But yeah, I'm going to wait to see if I can get some pullbacks on NZD CAD, maybe Aussie CAD as well. I prefer NZD CAD at the moment. But still looks relatively tight right now. And the market is very, very choppy, so I have to be careful how I maneuver it. But we've had a lovely bearish move, but we are starting to become a little bit more tired. Wicks are forming, not looking as healthy anymore. So I do think within good time we'll probably see price push up, which means hopefully price comes back to test resistance again. And then I could be looking for some entries to take NZD-CAD back to the downside. This is a setup which I'm keeping a close eye on for a short. And a swing back into 0.802 looks good. I'm looking at that being a high. If you go to the weekly chart, lovely wick to the upside there a couple of weeks back. I'm just looking for price to respect the high and continue lower. So this is a pair on my watch list. Keeping a very close eye on. I've gone through some of the monthly candle closures as well. And there's been a few interesting closures, especially this one as well. I like the wick to the upside on the month. So there we go. Nice piercing wick to the upside. Price tried to be bullish but failed. So essentially resistance across here is held. I do think for April, there's a good chance that we do push down back into support again, which is over there. And that's basically the range I'm looking to trade, from that resistance back into that support. Last month's candle tried to pierce through, failed. So I do think April is going to give us at least a push. Might not close bearish, might not break support, but I think there's a good chance we do push at least back into that area. So if I scale back to the daily, if you can get something like this, a nice push to the upside, respects the high, comes back down, that gives you a nice swing for the month to look to trade. And again, it doesn't have to be all the way down there as well. Even if you swing it back into the wick low, probably still get yourself a decent trade there too. But I do think we can get to support. 19360. Uh, 19360. Okay, looking for a really big move. Excuse me, just sneezed. I've been sneezing a lot on stream recently. Not very practical. 19360 is a pretty big move there. I'd imagine your entry is probably on that bullish engulfing candle, I'd imagine. You do like your engulfing candles. So, I mean, if price can hold support here, then I expect us to get to there, to be honest. So that's the area I said some shorts could look good. So if I'm expecting a move back to that level, then I would expect price to at least get to 19360, which is your target, because 19400 looks like a nice place to short from, and especially the way the market reversed as well. Big strong move down, recovered it very aggressively. Now we're trading above that low there as well. So yeah, I do favor us to at least hit 19400. So I would favor price to get to your target as well. Of course, price getting to a target versus trading, there's a completely different ball game, because especially when you look to manage your trade, there could be some red flags, or maybe you get trailed out and then price goes and hits your target. So there's that to take into consideration, but looking pretty good there. Nice entry signal. Price looks like momentum is really respecting that as well. I would say this is probably your first kind of test for the trade, I would say. But we do have that consolidation. If we can run through that, that will look very, very good. If price can run through that, because that means momentum is really reversed. That means this drop here is pretty much just evaporated, and our price is looking bullish. So after that, might get another pullback and some more upside as well. So yeah, hopefully price can break through that and really get going. And let me go for Aussie CAD as well. So NZD-CAD, I like the candle. Monthly candle on Aussie CAD I like as well. Basically finding resistance. Doesn't look as good as clean as New Zealand CAD. But again, inability to try and push to the upper side. I do think we can at least push back into support, which would be down at the lows here as well. I don't think the market is likely putting a higher low. We had a low over here, swing to the upside, low over there, swing to the upside, low over there, swing to the upside. We've actually just about pinched the low here on the left. So I don't think we're likely going to push to the upside anymore. I think we could push, but I don't see a new high forming. I see something like this, push to the upside, lower high, and then a drop. And that's kind of the short I'm after as well. But I think NZD CAD looks cleaner, so I'm just going to focus there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with CAD pairs. In terms of the pairs I'm watching as well, based on higher time frame closures, I think some of the yen pairs look interesting. Euro yen looks interesting with some of its monthly candle closures. We have closed pretty bullish, but what we've done is close back into resistance. And you can see we've had some very strong bullish candles recently, but the following candle has been very bearish. Strong close to the upside, we come right back down. Another push to the upside, back into that resistance. If we do hold this, I do think we come straight back down as well. So we're coming into an area where price is having a lot of trouble. You can see on the weekly chart too. If I get rid of these drawings, you can see on the weekly chart as well, price having a really tough time at this area. A couple of weeks ago, big wick to the upside. Last week, wick to the upside. So to me, it looks like price is having a really tough time at this level. And I do favor Euro Yen to drop to the downside there too. Looks like we do have some support here on the weekly chart to contend with. I feel like if that support goes from that prior week's low, if that support goes, then you're looking at a very big drop, which is what I was talking about early in the stream. If we can see that support go, price breaks through that, then that's your green flag for a sell. Probably see a decent weekly close after that as well, but then retests and shorts should give us a nice swing all the way back into 155.5. And you can see we're also holding the 200 moving average there as well, pretty well too. So kind of waiting for that, for the green light for Euro Yen. Just price clearing 161 out of the way, and then expecting shorts afterwards. If I go take a look at GJ, which is of course the one I'm shorting as well. Did I just look at GJ? No, that was Euro Yen, sorry. But GJ as well, another strong close to the upside. Again, you can see GJ push the upside, a lot of wicks, and then the next candle is pretty bearish. Another push to the upside, push back down, another push to the upside as well. I do think April we can see a push right back down again, back into support. Of course, the long-term goal, still a push into that wick low there, kind of biding our time. Again, if this is going to be an area which price finds resistance in, again, you can see the weekly chart, a lot of wicks to the upside. We're looking very tired. And that was one of the confluences why I hopped into the position. And my stop loss is above the wick high of the previous week, which keeps my stop loss in a relatively safe place. And of course, looking at the lower time frames, we've broken through support here on the left, and now we're respecting resistance as well. So as long as price can stay below that, that gives me confidence that I'm in the right direction and price is likely to keep falling. If we do break above, I'll close the trade early. Perhaps we get another re-entry at the high, and that could be a nice trade to get even better entry, because my stop loss is pretty big. I'm still taking advantage of a decent risk to reward. It's still at least a 1 to 2 and back into the low. But if I could refine that, then that would be great as well. Even if something like this sets up, that increases the risk to reward to 1 to 5 potentially. So I wouldn't mind waiting for that to happen. But yeah, if we can respect the resistance here, which so far we're doing okay, then I do think pound yen is likely to fall. And if I take a look at, let's say CAD yen. So CAD yen, not too much from this one. The biggest takeaway I have from CAD yen is that on the monthly chart, is that support here on the left is kind of broken with all those bodies. We haven't really cleared it because there's just a lot of wicks in this area. You can see wick, 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 wick. So it's a lot of indecision, but the bodies tell a story as well. And prices respecting underneath the bodies here, especially Feb's candle, big wick to the upside, closes a shooting star. So I do think sooner or later CAD yen's going to have a pretty big drop and come back and test some support down here. So again, giving me more confidence that CAD yen is likely to drop as well. Another yen pair I think is likely to push down. Of course, high time frames give you a nice overview of picture, but a good way to judge momentum is to drop to the lower time frame to see what the lower time frames are doing. Because if you drop to like the 4 hour, let's say, and price is giving you a lot of rejection at support, then we probably aren't going to keep falling, are we? Probably are going to turn around. So that would be an indication that, okay, yes, higher time frames might give us a push down, but maybe we were wrong with that analysis and maybe price is going to push up. So the lower time frames will give us that information. But right now, lower time frames look pretty bearish for CAD yen. We've broken through that counter trend line. And if we can break out of this range here, I don't see a lot stopping us from pushing at least back to the low at 101.5. So that looks pretty bearish to me as well. Dollar yen I'm not really a big fan of, to be honest. Again, it's another yen pair. It's likely going to move similar, but you can see with dollar yen, monthly candle isn't really doing a lot for me here. I look to the left, it's still grabbing onto support here. I mean, I'm still expecting push into this area, but the month's candle of March didn't really give me a good job. In fact, it's respecting a support, which might even mean a move to the upside. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant shorting dollar yen as well. Not really giving me much. If I take a look at CHF JPY, that one again, nice bullish close, but we're coming more or less into resistance, especially with those bodies there. If that's going to hold a resistance, might see price give us a bit of a drop for April. Aussie yen and New Zealand yen have been a bit awkward. I think it's give us dojis. Yeah, so not a lot to take from here. Just lack of momentum really, and New Zealand yen, same thing, although I think just resistance is holding up there. We might keep falling, but again, not the biggest takeaway. Then USD pairs have been a bit awkward. Euro USD gave us a really strong push in March, of course. Strong close to the upside, and I'm still looking at more of that. I just want price to retrace. There's a nice level around here. I think that's more or less 50% of the candle. Coming to the 50, 0.618. If we could retrace back into there, I think that's a solid place for a buy. And then we likely see the continuation. Same thing for pound USD as well. Strong push to the upside, looking for a correction, back to some of these areas and find a continuation. I'm not necessarily looking to try and push pound USD all the way back to the high here. There's a pretty big level of resistance which we're coming to right now. So I'm not going to try and push it too far because we might have a lot of trouble in this area and it might take us a while to break through. But there's still some solid buys down there. Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar just closed with a lot of wicks here. So again, just a lot of indecision, not really giving us a lot of indication there. I wouldn't say it's a sign that we're about to sell because we could easily just fill the wicks and push up. So the biggest takeaway is just indecision, which you can kind of already tell that by looking at the daily chart. Market's still very, very flat. Ends the USD, same situation, I believe, as well. Slightly more bullish on March's candle, but again, a lot of wicks to the upside. We're having a lot of trouble trying to break through support on the left there. Resistance, sorry. So again, maybe it's an indication for more downside, but not a very big one. And of course, looking at the DXY for the month of March, strong close to the downside. Again, kind of looking at a retracement of that candle a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do push eventually back into support down there. 101. I think there's a good chance we do get there, but of course want to see some pullbacks first. So something like that would be nice, and then the drop. So yeah, that kind of sums up where I'm at with yen and USD pairs, which is kind of where my focus is at most of the time. I do look to trade a lot of markets, but yen and USD pairs are always my favorite. And yeah, with yen pairs still very bearish. Of course, I'm short pound yen right now, so just going to see how that trade gets going. I'll keep you guys up to date with that. Momentum looks like it's picking up slowly, which is good. Hopefully that lasts. So I manage that position. I will look at USD pairs. Don't really have a setup for me just yet. Need a lot of retracement. And of course, I manage also CHF, which is just I'm just trading stocks with that one, so not a lot to do. Worst case scenario, price will go and hit my trail stop loss. But hopefully, pound yen can start to really pick up the pace as well. Don't really have any other pairs on my horizon. I'm looking at New Zealand CAD shorts, but I don't see that as an opportunity just yet. I need a lot of a bigger pullback before I do start to look to short. Same for Aussie CAD as well. But yeah, guys, that does take us to the end of the stream. If you have found it useful, please be sure to smash the like button. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. I do really appreciate each and every one of you tuning in to the streams. I hope you have enjoyed it, found it useful. Join the Discord. The link to that is in the description below. You can find updates there, chat with other traders, chat with myself, share ideas. I share ideas there as well. So if you are looking to join that, check it out. Link in the description to it. Completely free to join. I will be live again tomorrow, same time as today, 10 a.m. UK time. So make sure you're following the UK time, because that is when the stream will go live, 10 a.m. UK time to 12 p.m. So if you have enjoyed it, make sure you're coming back tomorrow, say hi, and we'll chat with, see what happens in the markets. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.